Hey, hey. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to our office in Paris. I hope you can hear me good and that we have a good setup this time. We have so many things to talk about. I have some notes here. It's been such a long time. Super happy to give some news, super happy to talk with you, to answer your questions afterwards. I have the chat on my screen, and we will try to deep dive into a lot of topics. R1, what's after, like the current program, and then also AR VR at large, because like so many things happened, uh, many things I can't talk about, but many things that don't concern Lynx that I can certainly give my unsolicited opinion on. So we have, yeah, many topics to cover. I will start with Lynx R1. Um, so as you probably followed, the Lynx R1 project was really hard to come to an end. Um, we received the last shipment. I think it was last Friday or Thursday. So the story is that we had issues with our manufacturer that wanted us to basically pay for more because the volume of the Lynx R1 were not what they budgeted for, so they tried to get money out of us. And they took our last shipments hostages for quite some times, and we negotiated. And at the end, we were able to get the last half a metric tons of XR headsets. They are just behind you. Some of them are on the tables right now. They are being reviewed by the team. I can probably show you. There are a few on my desk here, uh, and there is like a full table where they are being checked with the optics and everything, and the dust because we had some problems with the some batches. So this is being reviewed, and we are going to ship the last ones hopefully by the end of June. We'll have shipped all the Lynx R1 headsets that we built initially. And then we're going to process the refunds. So that should be done by the end of July. So we have information from everyone, and I'm telling you officially that we acknowledge the ask for the refunds of people that ask for it. This is going to be taken care of. And I'm sorry because there was quite some times between the time we ask like who wants a refund and who wants a delivery, and now where we are able to you know set it off with the inventory we have. So that's for the R1. I'm sure you have a ton of questions. The team is still working on it. We're still making stuff on the R1 software. I will probably show on Twitter in a couple of days or maybe next week the video of the Lynx R1 in a zero G flight that was done a few weeks ago by the European Space Agency. That was a great test for the device where we were able to test a 6DoF algorithm working without an IMU, and also to capture data in a zero G setting. So we have data we can analyze for making sure that the 6DoF algorithm we have can work in an environment where gravity is behaving differently. And so that can also allow us to work on things that are like on the Vision Pro on the Quest, where they call it travel mode, where uh, you don't necessarily rely entirely on the IMU, and you had more weight on the features of the cameras. So we did that. The images are incredible. So yeah, just you will see them on Discord or Twitter or both. And we are going to update the images, I mean the firmware of the R1 with the security patches we get essentially from Qualcomm. The runtime is pretty stable and solid. It's OpenXR 1.1 headset with pass-through, still the best hand tracking with Ultralip. Maybe we'll talk about them. Um, and so it's still a very good headset for what it does, and especially what it did at the time. So the team is still very proud of that. Um, So people are asking in the chat about the refunds. I thought the refunds will happen in July after we're done shipping every last remaining Lynx R1. All right. So that's for that topic. I think I can talk a little about the next product. So it's true that we've been working for more than a year now on a next generation headset. That's almost everything I can say at this point. I think people noticed that we are working with Hypervision, the Israeli optical house company that design next generation pancake lenses. That we were quite public about that. So you can expect that the next product we're working on will not use the same lens architecture that we used in Lynx R1 because it's while it's still great for some aspects. First, the company that we worked with was acquired by Apple in January 2023. Okay, so here's that. Then there are quite some limitation on the field of view you can get. So the core motive also for changing architecture is okay, 90 degrees circular is great, but if we want to scale that to something bigger or much bigger, like we need to change. And this is how I started, like the team and I started chasing different architectures, and then we stumbled upon Hypervision. I want to talk again about Hypervision. The fact that we are betting on them is that not only it's a great pancake design, but I mean it's not that it's a great pancake optics, it's that it's the best. Meaning that you um let me explain to you. In a pancake lens architecture, you usually have two or three lenses, and almost certainly one of the surfaces is flat because on it you need to laminate films, polarizer, quarter wave plates, things like that. And to do that, it's easier and cheaper to do it on a flat surface because the tooling exists. It's quite known in the fabrication tools for that. And Apple, for example, on the Apple Vision Pro, did something a bit different with their pancake lens. They, instead of having one surface flat, they have the lens cylindrical. So on the cylinder, you can still apply a film quite easily, and that's fine. So they use a cylinder to get a bit more field of view and a bit more eye box for their tiny micro OLED display. I mean, it's not crazy tiny, but it's certainly smaller than um, LCD screens that you see on other headsets. Um, so they use this cylindrical architecture, and what Hypervision is doing is their design is spherical. So there is no flat surface in their design. And I mean, the Hypervision was praised about that in the industry, is that for the same volume of a lens, of an optical block, you can get, I don't know, 25% more field of view at least compared to the same optical block in which design you have a flat surface. So the fabrication process is a bit more complicated. You need to think about it, like how do you laminate a flat film on a spherical surface? It's a bit more difficult, but you should understand that there is nothing better than a sphere. Like you can't beat a sphere, to get aperture on field of view. So once you understand their design, you understand that yeah, it's the end game for pancake architectures. Whether you use a micro OLED, whether you use a LCD, whatever you want to use as your display, they have a solution for you, and uh, the pancake lens they would design is certainly better than any other design I've seen so far, including from vendors like Gore-Tex or Optics, or the other suppliers that are out there that are not like Meta and the big ones. I mean, Meta is the only big one that we know about. Um, so that was my pitch on Hypervision. Probably they will. they will correct me in the comments. Or but this is really exciting. This is one of the core things in the headset that we're working on, trying to make a difference. Just like in the R1, we made a difference with the optics and also the form factor. Just so you know, the next product we're working on, we were afraid of not being able to do that, of just making an iteration. And this is not the case. We are really on every topic, even the plastic we use for the shell and everything. On every topic, we say, okay, how can we do better? Or if we can't, what is different out there that would make this thing better? And so we really started from scratch, and I can tell you now that we have something super promising, and I don't have anything to show for now, but I can tell you that something will be shown before the end of 2025, for sure. You also have to know, and I've been very public about that, that the next generation headset is all around Android XR. And Android XR is this OS from Google built on top of AOSP, and they have a very tight partnership on that with Qualcomm. So it's basically a Qualcomm, like a Google Qualcomm Lynx project. So you have to imagine that there's the Lynx team, but there is so many more people around that headset now that are taking care of the project and making sure that we're doing something good with the right partners around the globe to deliver that. And it's super exciting. We have resources that we didn't have before, and I'm super thankful for that. I think Android XR, like for Lynx to align with Android XR, is the right bets, because basically the two other ones are Horizon, which I don't even need to talk about, and there is Apple, which is doing their Apple thing uh, in their corner, and you can't partner with that. So Google is really and I tested Android XR, and we have some things here in the office where we can work on the software before having access to the final hardware, and it's super exciting. It's really like Google did a really good job. They certainly work with Samsung a lot on the Muhan headset that you've heard so much about. The software is exciting. It's going to really I don't know, bring all the Android ecosystem into XR, which was not really the case, even though Quest also use AOSP in some ways, but you're missing a lot of the rest of the Android ecosystem, which Google is bringing with their tooling, with their Google services, and they're bringing the Google ecosystem as well. It's still built on top of AOSP, and Lynx has still like a AOSP only image on the side for development and probably for hobbyists in the future, and some specialty and exotic customers, like for example in defense or something else. But Android XR makes a lot of sense for us, and super thankful for that. If some Google or Qualcomm people are watching this live, I'm super thankful for what we're doing, and you know that. So also I spent some weeks in Asia, especially in May and April. This is so our optics are built in Taiwan, and the headsets will be built in China. We can build somewhere else in the future, but the first batches anyway will be built in China. We're not building with Gore-Tex, just so you know, for people that are familiar with the matter. I can't share like who the partners are, but it's also really exciting. It's not the one we worked with on the Lynx R1, and we worked with people that are more experienced, that we were only able to access through Qualcomm and Google. So again, the Android XR partnership is we're leveraging a lot on that to access to the latest tooling, best partners on the planet for XR products. So again, super excited. It's a lot of work, so I'm also very tired, but it's great. The scope of the project has changed in some ways. When you build hardware, you realize along the road that you need to add or remove sensors or change things here and there, and this costs time and money. But in the end, now we have something very clear for a critical path for 2025, and on the market in 2026. That's what I can share so far. There are so many more things I want to share that can only be understood if you've watched a TV show like Silicon Valley, of how those big companies behave sometimes, and what it takes really to bring a hardware product that complicated on the market. We've done it with Lynx R1 in like 99% of the way, of course, because we couldn't scale as much as we wanted, but we did all the stuff, and we know how to do it, and now we do it better with this next gen product. But yeah, it's really hard. Even though we are having more and more resources, you realize it's not really getting easier. I don't know if you understand me here. Um, so the I just want to comment on someone in the chat because I only have a tiny window, but someone is mentioning like the privacy angle. So just so you know, I was mentioning that we also have like a AOSP um, image that can be compatible with the headset, and the headset is like the bootloader will be open just like the Lynx R1, and just like an Android phone, you're able to change the OS if you want. So that's what we're doing. All right. So okay, so someone is saying, "Hey, no one has contacted me for the refund. Sorry, we don't reply to everyone. I should have sent a mailing. Um, I'll probably do that once we've shipped all the remaining Links R1. But uh, we acknowledge that the polls that we sent and people getting their details in it. We have all that. Just so you know. Okay. All right. I'll try to answer some questions if you have. Will you have any early developer meeting for the R2 version? Um, I ask because Google Samsung has already had 4 invite-only developer sessions on Android XR. Yes, we will show the device to developers and partners. We don't have like a release schedule of that, but of course, we want as much as content creator and developers on the device. I can't share more, but uh, in the Android XR ecosystem, there are also other partners. I don't have visibility on like who is coming first. I just know that Samsung is definitely a priority for Google and Qualcomm, of course, because the headset is y- you know they've communicated on the headset already. It's on the finish line for go to market. So that's probably the first headset on Android XR you'll see. But in 2026, we're sure to also be on the market as well. So yeah, more on that later. We will communicate on our channels, on Link's channels for the on the developer ecosystem thing. Someone is saying hardware is hard. I still have faith in Lynx and stand to deliver a competitive headset. Thank you, Jonas. Yeah, hardware is hard, and I say that already, but if we knew how hard it was, we wouldn't have done it. I mean, myself certainly not. It's super rewarding, despite all the hardships and the problem and the frustration that some of you also are sharing, that I fully understand. And I'm living with that. I'm living with the obligation to all of you and to the community, that a lot of people bet on Links every day, and support us or supported us, and we're living that with the team. With that, on top of our head, and it's not something we forget. We're working towards making everyone happy, every one of our users happy. So I hope we can ship the final headsets as soon as possible, so it's out of our way, and then process the refunds and just get on with the next headset. Um, all right. Do you have controllers for the device? Uh, the mm, the next device will definitely have controllers. We build controllers internally. We haven't been able to put them on the production line yet, but we have we for the next headset for sure. Compatibility, sorry, compatibility with the R1, not sure yet, but we have a pair of controllers. Okay. Um, so question, will the Lynx R2 likely have pass-through camera imaging available to a custom app? Yes. I think Google said it. I, I'm just using information I saw online about Android XR allowing pass-through camera access, which is also something we're pushing for. Um, okay, so before we talk about AR VR at large, I'm going to check on the last questions. Someone is saying, I'm so excited for next gen Lynx in 2026. I hope it's affordable. I hope it's not expensive. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about. This is a great topic, and this is a great transition to the next topic we can discuss tonight. Um, it's not going to be it's a different price point than the Lynx R1. um I'm not talking about the Kickstarter one. I'm talking about the one we sold on our website afterwards, to try to make money actually. The price point is different. What we're seeing now, especially since the Apple Vision Pro went on the market, is that there was kind of a race towards premium headsets, meaning super expensive and very premium bill of materials and components in those headsets. We're using some premium stuff here, but it's not going to be expensive. I can't give you the exact number we have in mind, but I think everyone will be very much surprised. Our goal is to get to volume, right? The only, Qualcomm, Google, Lynx, we all like one thing in common with the three companies is that we want volume on the products we put out there, whether it's a chip or OS or the headset itself. And we've been working on a strategy to get there. So I think that the price of next gen Lynx will be definitely something people are not we're not waiting for, in a very positive way. And to talk about the market a little, you see that there are, in my opinion, like from the tiny window where I stand as a headset manufacturer, there are less and less companies really making standalone headsets, or any headsets really. Um, the Lynx was able to stay alive like barely 2023, 2024, super hard. Um, but a lot of other companies went under, and a lot of other people that either tried to make headsets or wanted to make headsets abandoned that, or just shut down the store. There are a few that were able to push through. Big up to Big Screen, for example. Even though even them, on their side, you see that they have some hardships um, on the returns and the problems they might have. So it's hard for everyone, and I think it's even harder today for newcomers and smaller companies. So I'm super thankful that Lynx was able to, like, kind of go through that wave and able to survive and to have a future there. And companies like HTC, you've seen a deal between Google and HTC earlier this year. We're not expecting to see new products from HTC anymore because of a deal like that, I think. Um, so there are less and less people, and the sales of the Quest 3 and the Quest 3S were not as much as the Quest 2, and you see that the market is shifting towards, hey, maybe headsets are like plateauing and there is not as big as a market than what people think, especially at Meta, which can't be a surprise really. But on the other end, you see a lot more of smart glasses. You're going to hear so much about smart glasses end of this year, next year, about like new products from very big companies coming on the market, because the Meta Ray-Ban was technically a commercial success. Financially, I'm not sure, but um, I think this sold more than 2 million units, what you can see in the press. But you'll see more and more of these products, which, in my opinion, are very good products, but definitely not the same kind of use case and usage of the like the full HMD philosophy. Um, and none of them have a, I mean, like the Meta Ray-Bans, for example, they don't have a display yet. So is it AR? I mean, so basically the world is shifting again between AR and VR, like AR versus MR. And I think the smart glasses are going to like take over the headsets in sales number, but there is definitely a lot of room for headsets to exist. And I think Lynx is a good, I think we're a good witness of that with the demand, with the inbound demand we have for a product like the one we're building. Um, Someone is saying more than 1,200 euros equal no volume for me. Yeah, you're quite far from our target. Don't worry. Um, so a good question that someone is asking, it's not a question, but so R2, like what you call R2, like our next product, will launch like a real product directly in stores day one. So yes, like this is something I don't want to go through again for my sanity and yours and the expectation of everyone. We won't, and especially in the partnership with Google and Qualcomm again, we don't want to communicate too early, to show the product too early and make sure it's available to everyone that wants to buy it. And this is something we're correcting from the R1 release, which has disappointed some people in some ways. Um, and the same person is saying that people don't have the money for expensive toys. They might use it only like a month or the first few months. This is a good question also about the model to sell the headset. Like, are you able to buy it or rent it? This is also something we're discussing with distributors in some regions. I can't say where, but it's quite far from here. Um, Someone is saying AR is the future. Yeah, but which kind of AR, right? Like the MR1 or the AR1? I'm not sure. We're seeing more and more smart glasses. Like there are like I don't know, 100 startups working on bringing smart glasses to the masses. It feels like, when people were excited with Magic Leap like 10 years ago or so. Um, I think there were progress on the AR side of things. There is the Orion glasses from Meta with which uses like silicon carbide with a 2.6 index, which is a great material for AR for waveguides. But how expensive is that? And even though more and more people are going to produce silicon carbide, are you going to be able to bring those waveguides and optical engine and the BOM down to a level where you're comfortable with people buying them? I don't know. And I don't wear glasses. I don't want to wear glasses. This is a pair of glasses, smart or not, is like it's a medical device. Like you wear glasses because it compensates for a handicap um of your eyes. And I think we missed the point on that. It's also a fashion accessory in some ways, but to the point where you would wear it all day, I don't know. I'm not sold yet. We're going to definitely work on that at some point, but from what I'm seeing from the roadmap of other people and other companies, I'm not seeing a convincing product uh, like that goes that breaks the roof in terms of volume and also brings some sort of revolution in the use case. Um, so yeah, I don't know what you think about it, but that's my 50, that's my 2 cents opinion on the matter. There is also the discussion of there is another topic that is super interesting is the puck, like the are you do you prefer to have everything in there, or are you comfortable with having a puck with the battery like the Vision Pro, or the battery and the compute and somewhere on your belt or in your pocket? um, that's that's something I more like. That's something I understand, and I see the benefits. Um, and also, on like my favorite headset, standalone headset, is probably the Lynx R1, but I'm biased, right? But my favorite PC VR headset is the right now is the PSVR 2, because that headset is so convenient. um, you have just one USB-C cable going to your PC, to your graphic card, and computer. So the headset, even though it's quite bulky, it's super lightweight compared to any other uh, standalone headset, because you don't carry the battery, you don't carry the all the processing. There is some processing in the headset, but you don't carry everything. You don't carry the same thermal dissipation mechanism and everything. So I can understand the benefits, but also the compromise of having a cable. I think the puck in the pocket is a bad idea. Like the I don't see how in a closed environment like your pocket you can dissipate the heat. Um, I mean, you don't have a lot of airflow in your pocket usually. So maybe it's something on the belt. I don't know. But we're we're going to build prototypes around something for sure. That's something that was not really doable before. And just so you understand, in terms of system and pricing, you would need at least the same components you have in a standalone headset, plus things on top of that. You'll have the cable, but you still need a bit of compute up there, like a hub for the sensors and the display. So you have electronics there, you have electronics down there. So like your BOM is physically more expensive, because you would still have the same kind of processing power, if not more, because you want to put more once you don't have to wear it. So I don't see a headset with a puck less expensive than a headset which has everything in one form factor. So that's again my two cents about that. Maybe one last thing we can talk about and give my unsolicited opinion is the photo of Palmer and Zuckerberg. Uh, that was something. That was something. That was hard to anticipate for anyone who knows a little bit about either of those two gentlemen. And I think for Palmer, it asked a lot of I don't know, inner peace and a lot of things to go back there. Just to go back there from him. I think it meant a lot, and I think it means a lot for the AR and VR ecosystem to see that guy here again, with all the resources that Meta has, and maybe they're shifting that more and more to products that are not only headsets anymore, and maybe Palmer can just pick up the toys and use them. That would be quite incredible to see. um i'm I guess I'm happy for him. I'm not. I think we'll have to wait and see what they build, if we're ever going to see what they're building together, because it's going to be probably ITAR and defense related. But it's something. I mean, the way the ecosystem is shifting is certainly interesting. It reminds me of like 2019, 2020, around like the Quest 1 and Quest 2 days. I think we're going to see like a new wave of something, but I don't know what that thing is. I just know what we're building at Lynx. I think it's the right thing for the markets we want to address, both on consumer and for businesses. Um, so yeah, the that's the those were the news for today. Um, Super happy to face the camera again, be able to talk more. Um, we worked a lot behind the scenes to make sure that the company was still able to run, that we have the resources to move forward, um, giving also the backlog of the R1, and seeing that coming to an end very soon is making me happy. Also, it's going to be a huge relief, I think, for the team and for some people out there who are waiting for a long time and that are in the comments ranting, which I fully understand. Um, so I'm going to check at the comments and see if you posted anything. Okay. So someone is saying I hope for R2 or next gen. You have good ideas, but the point is I hope you will be able to differentiate from other. I think you're right. It's always the risk, right? You're using something standard out of the box like Android XR. Like how can you differentiate? I think we were able to do that with the R1, and we're doing it with the next gen device. Something I can tell you is that when you look at the reference design of Qualcomm in 2019 and 2020, it was a headset called Trinity. It was a big, bulky headset. I mean, something like that, without the battery even. And a reference design is usually just like in phones or laptops or computers, the chip manufacturer like Intel or Qualcomm, they give you a reference design saying, hey, you want to build a headset. This is one, you can take everything that's in it and make your own design. Or you can change things here and there, but that will cost more and be more difficult for you. What I can share now is that between this Trinity headset, which was the reference design at the time, and the Lynx R1, there is nothing in the Lynx R1 in terms of sensors, like the cameras and the displays, that are similar to what you could have in Trinity at the time. And even the RGB cameras we use for pass-through were not part of any other reference design in the industry from Qualcomm or from others. We just built a driver, we did the calibration, the image correction and everything ourselves. And I think this is what is kind of impressive at Lynx and still impresses me today, is that the team here, the 30 people we have the ability to really build from scratch a spatial computer, like something where you have all the compute from the OS to the hardware and the sensors and everything. This is I think this is our like core superpower, and we're using that for the next generation device. So from the reference design I've seen for the next chips and the next headsets, what we're building is again very far from that. So yeah, I'm not worried. We're going to bring a lot of difference. Um, okay, I'm going to check on your other messages. Okay. Can you explain why nearly no company of standalone headsets use a display port to differentiate from other standalone manufacturers? I think this is a good question. It demands to have a lot of software tweaking between the Qualcomm chip and the way you could use it for PCVR. But I think this is going to change. I can't share more, but I think yeah, this is going to change probably next year. But it's a bit more than just a software thing. Like you have to have things in your electronics to handle those signals and process them. Um, so yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all for tonight. I will keep people updated, and we'll communicate about the last shipments once we are, um, once we have finished the QA on the last shipment of Lynx headsets we received, and then process the refunds in July. And then I think from September, you're going to see more and more communication about what is the next gen device. All right, so thank you everyone. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.